kicking off the road to Macstock with Mike Potter. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is brought to you by the MacVoices Slack, available to all patrons of MacVoices. Sign up today at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's that time of year again. Spring is coming. The weather's getting a little bit warmer, and we are starting down the road to Macstock Conference and Expo coming up in July of this year. And as I always try to do as we start the road to Macstock, I try to corral Mike Potter, the chief Macstocker, whatever, and organizer of Macstock, to tell us what we can expect to see this year, or at least what's been announced so far. Mike, welcome. It's great to have you.
It is great to be here, Chuck. And I don't know if I'm organizer or instigator. It's one of those two.
You're responsible, for better or worse. How's that?
I'm responsible. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm really excited. I missed last year's Macstock because I had a very, very, very mild case of COVID, but it just wasn't the right thing to do to come and potentially put somebody else in danger. So I'm really looking forward to this year. And it sounds like already there are a number of great announcements, a number of great presenters. I'm just going to let you tell us about it.
Oh my gosh, I am so very excited for Macstock this year. I mean, last year was very much a rebuilding year. I mean, you're talking about coming back after it had been 3 years of downtime. We last got together in 2019, and so to be able to get together in 2022 was just magical. It was magical, but it was very much a rebuilding year. And I think now 2023 is that year where we are, I don't want to say really back, because, that community feel of Macstock wasn't any different last year. We may have had a small group of people gathered together, but it was as it always is, just this phenomenal group of people. But this year I feel like we're going to be back. We're going to be back and not so much in a rebuilding year. And I think some of the things I've been able to, you talk about corralling. I think some of the things I've been able to gather together, some of the things that folks have liked the most about Macstock in the past are going to be happening again this year. And so, I've just been super excited with what's coming our way in July.
Before we get into some of that, we probably should point out, as you said, last year you had it with what ended up being a smaller attendance. You've also tried to keep Macstock, or have kept Macstock, going through a virtual event the year before. It has been just top to bottom. It's been a lot of challenges. And frankly, we've seen some other conferences not make it back, that they just folded their tent and went away. So that's where I think you deserve so much credit for all the work you've put in, keeping it going and bringing it back, and now bringing it back at what looks like full strength for 2023.
Or at least a really dark medium roast strength, perhaps. It might not be the full-on, dark roast, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I can certainly understand other conferences, as you said, throwing in the towel or what have you. I can understand that. It's not really in my nature to do that. I wanted to keep it going as best as I could. And virtual Macstock in 2020 and 2021 were great ways to do that. 2021, we even had a very small gathering of people together. I think it was like 25 people I think we had together in attendance for the live stream of Virtual Macstock 2021. So it was a kind of a trial balloon for what might be needed to have health and safety protocols in place for 2022. But gosh, all the stuff that everyone has had to deal with these past 3 years, and then to have to do that in a way to keep everyone safe when you're talking about gathering, upwards of 100 people together in a room, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a bit of a relief. While I do, we are expecting a decent sized crowd this year. And some of the advice out there is to still mask up in those types of situations. I'm leaving it up to the individuals who are coming. I know you're going to do, you as an attendee are going to do what you feel right doing, and I that it's going to make it easier for everyone to attend. I think, just in general, and it's a little bit of a weight off my shoulder. I'll have to admit.
It has to be. It has to be. And the other thing that I don't think folks really understand, and it's so easy to overlook, is that a lot of the decisions you have to make literally months ahead. And
Yeah.
so, decisions that to do a go or no go on the whole event or on different aspects of the event. And then, like last year, I know one of the things that well, I got caught in it, was, there was a little bit of a resurgence of COVID.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, I was successful all that time. And then, the darn little red strip popped up. And so, that's just one of the things that people don't understand about what it takes to put these events on. So, but listen, we're focusing on the past. Let's focus on the future here and what we're going to be seeing and doing at Macstock.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll start out with some of the folks who are coming back to present this year. It's just an amazing list of folks. I have we're going to have 10 total speaking slots this year, spread out over 2 days. So 10 sessions. We're doing things a little bit different this year than we have in recent years of Macstock. I believe it was in 2018. No, it might have even been earlier than that. Boy, talk about years blending together. These past 3 years have really highlighted that. But okay, it might have been 2017. I think we tried in 2016 and we made it official in 2017. That might be right. Where every person presenting at Macstock was challenged with kind of dividing up their talk into 2 parts. A little 20-minute teaser type talk, to kind of get everyone's feet wet for what their topic was going to be. And then in the afternoon, we would break up into what I was calling deeper dive sessions and give the folks in attendance a choice where they would like to focus their attention based on the talks that they saw that morning. So every presenter gave a 20-minute talk and then that 45-minute deeper dive talk in the afternoon. Well, this year I'm doing things a little bit differently, and it's partly changes that were made at the venue, partly just speaker preference. If I'm being honest, there, folks have kind of shared their thoughts on that previous format, and I'm always listening. I'm always hearing what attendees and presenters and sponsors are telling me that they've enjoyed and maybe didn't enjoy so much about Macstock, and constantly adapting. So one of those adaptations this year is to change the format of the presentation. So we're going to have 10 presenters, and each presenter is going to give, I don't know how else to say this, more traditional 45-minute presentation. And then we'll have a little 15-minute break in between each presentation. And then we'll break for lunch. After the morning presentations, we'll have more in the afternoon. And then we have some special events taking place this year, too. So I guess that was my long-winded way of leading up to who I have lined up to present so far this year, because I really am excited about this list. You, of course, are on the list again this year, Chuck, and I'm always thrilled to have you on Macstock stage. We have Allison Sheridan is back to present again this year for the first time in several years. Kirsten Sia is going to be presenting this year. Mike Schmitz, Dave Ginsburg, and just announced during our live stream this past Saturday, Jeff Gamet and Dave Hamilton are going to be presenting at Macstock again this year. Jeff is going to be back for the first time since 2017. That was the last time he presented at Macstock. So this is a fantastic lineup of presenters, and I have 3 more slots open, and I have some feelers out for those presenters, and I'm hoping to get those announced sometime in the next, say 4 weeks or so.
So a lot of returning favorites of mine, no question
Yeah.
about that. But Macstock isn't just about the presentations.
No.
You always sneak in a couple special things. I know of at least one. There may be another one, but I'll let you speak to what else will we see besides the presentations.
Oh, you must have the insider track, Chuck, if you know at least one of them.
Well,
No, you tuned into the live stream Saturday, of course, so
yeah,
you know
exactly.
all of them.
And we'll talk about the live stream in a second. But having said that,
One I'm excited to have back again. So in 2019, we tried something new. Wally Truinsky came up to me at the end of 2018 and he said, "Hey, what do you think about doing a short film festival at Macstock?" And I said, "Well, that would be fantastic." 2018 was the year that we debuted the film Love Notes to Newton. Let me try that again. Love Notes to Newton. And it was fantastic to have an independent filmmaker come and debut his movie, his Apple-focused movie. Noah Leone was his name. To have his Apple-focused movie based on the Newton premiere at Macstock. I mean, what a thrill was that? Well, Wally was instrumental in getting Noah to premiere his movie at Macstock. Well, he asked me about doing a short film festival. I said, that really is a fantastic idea, and it's a great way to get those in attendance involved in Macstock as well. Not just be passively listening to talks, but to actively be involved and submit films, and we can show them at the end of the weekend. Well, of course, we plan to do it again in 2020. It was such a success. We plan to do it again in 2020. And, well, we already talked about what happened there. So we had Wally on during Virtual Macstock to talk about his experiences creating short films with the Macworld All-Star Band and things like that. And we've just been biding our time until we could announce the second Macstock Short Film Festival, and it's going to be this year. So Wally is back again this year with the second Macstock Short Film Festival. Anyone who is attending Macstock in person is welcome to submit a video. We are asking that the videos be shorter than 2.5 minutes, that they've been shot sometime in the last 3 years. We don't want people pulling stuff out of a 10-year-old archive, but something that they shot in the last 3 years or so, and preferably edited on a Mac or iOS or iPadOS device. So we're keeping it Apple focused, but more importantly, it's community focused. It's a way for those who are in Macstock's audience to take part in the weekend itself. And what Wally and I found, is that the time we had allocated for the film festival in 2019 just wasn't enough. So I'm excited that we are able to um, uh, host the short film festival over 2 days. So we're going to have the short film festival is going to be towards the end of Saturday, part one. Then part two is going to wrap up the conference on Sunday. So I'm very excited that Wally is able to join us again this year. And I think he is just as thrilled. We've already had some submissions, by the way. I think he is just as thrilled to be hosting it this year too. So anyone who is going to be attending Macstock and thinks they might want to submit a film should go ahead and fill out that form on the Macstock website right now. Even if your movie isn't ready, go ahead and fill it out so that we know you've got something coming our way, and we'll reserve a slot for you during the second Macstock Short Film Festival. I keep wanting to say second annual, but I can't. I can't say second annual, but we're the second Macstock Short Film Festival.
This edition of MacVoices is brought to you by the MacVoices Slack, available to all patrons of MacVoices. Sign up today at patreon.com/MacVoices. I was really excited to hear that Wally was coming back to do this, because first of all, if you've heard Wally on this show, if you've heard Wally speak in person at Macstock or anywhere else,
Mhm.
he is just a magician when it comes to video and what can be done, and not just from the the hardware that we all geek out over, but the techniques and the way that he approaches things to make his videos distinctive. They aren't just somebody holding up a camera and shooting something. They are very distinctive. So that was great, and I know I was blown away by that first year's Macstock Film Festival and
Yeah.
the submissions, the quality of the submissions, the diversity and variety of the submissions. So and the fact I love the fact that you've already gotten submissions already. That just says that there's pent up demand for this.
Yeah, one of the things I say on the Macstock website is it's really a chance to celebrate that creativity that can be found within the Macstock audience, the Macstock community, because that's what I refer to it. It's the Macstock community. Everyone who's there, the presenters, those in attendance, even sponsors who show up for Macstock, they're all part of our community. And there really is, just as you said, a ton of creativity out there, and it really was thrilling to watch all those videos that folks submitted.
And I feel obligated to say that just because this is a Macstock, it doesn't mean that your video has to be tech oriented. It
Oh
can be,
gosh, no.
if I mean, some of the videos were absolutely not tech oriented, even anywhere near close, and those were some of the best ones.
I would say the vast majority are not. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that. Yeah, no, they should not. They probably shouldn't be tech oriented. We want to get as far away from that as possible, don't we? We're there celebrating tech. We're there celebrating the community, but we also want to see that creativity too. So, yeah, no, don't make it a tech oriented video
Yeah,
unless you want
nobody.
to. Then make it a tech oriented video.
Yeah, if you really want to tear down your iMac, sure, go ahead. Why not?
Sure, go ahead. Why not?
Okay, so we have the film festival that
Yeah.
is one of the events. Word was that there's another something that's going to be returning to Macstock as well.
Yeah, yeah, this is exciting too. So, yeah, a little history. The very first Macstock in 2015 uh, was actually it was actually a combination of two events, really. I think this is what you're talking about, right? The first Macstock we held, it was a 1 day event in 2015. It was a Saturday, and then that evening we all gathered together for a barbecue, the Midwest Mac Barbecue, hosted by Barry Folk. And it was something that Barry and I kind of combined our efforts. He wanted to host a barbecue to see all of his friends that he could no longer see at Macworld. And I had this idea for Macstock for several years about gathering folks from not only my podcast community, but all the different communities of Apple users that I was aware of, gathering them all together and just kind of have this little micro conference. Well, that's what we did. We were successful in hosting that first year, Macstock and the Midwest Mac Barbecue. And then we've had variations of Barry's events throughout the years. We had a Midwest Mac Mingle. We had a barbecue on the grounds of the school or conference center where Macstock is held. We had all kinds of different things. And this year, Barry's Midwest Mac Barbecue is back. And I'm very excited about that. So we first touched base on this maybe a month to 2 months ago, something like that. Knew that he wanted to do it, and we just wanted to make sure that it could be done. So Barry is going to host his Midwest Mac Barbecue, um, same as before, uh, at his home. He's inviting anyone who would like to attend to his home, and have a tent and food and all this kind of stuff in his backyard. And he promises possibly even a wine tasting that night for anyone who would like to take part in it. Now, unlike the first year, this year's Midwest Mac Barbecue is actually going to take place 2 days prior to Macstock proper. So Macstock is going to take place, we didn't even mention this, did we? Macstock is going to take place July 22nd and 23rd this summer. And the Midwest Mac Barbecue is going to take place July 20th, 2020. That's a Thursday. That's the Thursday before Macstock. So, yeah, we're able to once again host both events in the same weekend. So I am excited about that. I'm going to have, now you can actually get information about it if you go to berryfolk.com. But I'm going to have some information about his Midwest Mac Barbecue on the Macstock website as well. And in addition to that, you'll find a form on that page where you can let Barry know that you're interested in attending so he can get you the info that you're going to need to have in order to attend.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And
Yeah.
anybody that's been to any of Barry's parties or events, as you refer to them, you know that he throws a great party. It's always a lot of fun, and of course, half the fun is the people that are there. But the part that is attributable to the host, Barry does a terrific job. So,
oh gosh, he knows how to throw a party, and certainly this is going to be a blast. If you're coming out from Macstock and you can adjust your plan so that you can make it to Barry's Midwest Mac Barbecue on that Thursday night, you absolutely have to. You're going to have a fantastic time.
agreed. Just to prove to folks, though, that these interviews are completely unscripted. We just say we're going to get together and talk about it. That's not what I was referring to.
Oh, okay.
So I'll let you talk about the other event that apparently is going to happen, that has happened before at Macstock and now will happen again.
Yes. Okay. So I think it was the happened at Macstock before part of it that kind of threw me a little bit because this particular thing. Now we'll find out if I'm correct in the thing you're referring to. This particular thing has never happened on Macstock stage before. It is something that's happened Macstock weekend. It's something that happened at the hotel. I believe it was the Saturday evening. They did this at the hotel. The hotel had a meeting room, and they did this there. But let's see, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. Dave Hamilton reached out to me and said, "Would you like us to do a Mac Geek Gab live on stage at Macstock?" I said, "Are you kidding? Absolutely." So Dave and John F. Brown and maybe Pilot Pete, they're working on that, are going to be live on Macstock stage Saturday afternoon, Saturday July 22nd. And the big thing is that they're going to be doing a rousing round of Stump the Geek. So during the live stream Saturday, I invited everybody. I didn't tell Dave I was going to do this. I invited everybody to bring their toughest tech questions to Macstock July 22nd so that they can do their best to stump the geeks on stage there that afternoon. And I think it's just going to be a blast. It's going to be an absolute blast. And again, just like the Short Film Festival, this is a fantastic way to get everybody in attendance involved in Macstock. And that's really my wish. You know, we have all these fantastic talks, and there's going to be a lot of learning going on, but that interaction, that ability to meet new people, to make new friends, and to walk away feeling like you just had a really fun, involved weekend at Macstock because you are now part of that Macstock community, part of which is a small part of the larger Apple community, is really my hope. And I'm just thrilled to death every year when I hear people say that they made new friends, that they're now going to be making appearances on certain podcasts, or that they've had an idea to start a blog, or maybe they're starting a podcast on their own. And a lot of it came about because they came to Macstock and they met new people and they got new ideas. And now they're enthusiastic to try this stuff when they get home. So, yeah, Stump the Geek is going to be a fantastic time. And it's going to take place at 4 o'clock on Saturday, the 22nd. Mac Geek Gab Live with Stump the Geek, I should say.
And that was the one that I was referring to. But you bring up an interesting point that I sort of forget that, Macstock is Macstock proper, but the whole weekend just sort of melds in together. The Midwest Mac Barbecue, the Macstock Conference and Expo itself, but also the evening events, the get-togethers, the informal get-togethers that inevitably happen. It's just it's all Macstock to me as an attendee. So that's why you're absolutely right. Technically, it was not at Macstock, but it was Macstock weekend. Therefore, in my mind, it's part of Macstock.
Yeah. That evening stuff, whether it happens on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I had someone ask me last night. They sent me a quick message and said, I'm thinking about staying over until Monday. Is that a good idea? And I said, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Every single year, I've been able to get together, and I'll tell you, Monday is great for me because the weekend's over. So all that stress, everything that was going on that I have to worry about is all, out of my head. I don't have to worry about it. So Monday is a fantastic time to meet up with people. And we've done it every single year, whether it's meeting for breakfast, meeting for lunch, just hanging out someplace and talking, doing all three of them. We've met for breakfast and lunch all in the same day. But he asked, should I stay until Monday? And I said, yeah, absolutely, because the stuff goes on then too. And it's all very organic. And it comes about because people are seeing each other either for the first time in a year, 2 years, 3 years, meeting new people and hanging out with those folks that they've just met. But they come up with stuff to do, and they always have a great time.
Macstock Conference and Expo is a big deal. So big that we had to split the interview with Mike into 2 pieces. Next time, we'll talk more about some of the special events and speakers you'll see. We'll talk more about where to stay and what kind of ticketing options are available for you to attend. Mark your calendars. That's all next time on Mac Voices. I'll see you then. As always, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.